Near Baghdad, in a small village, an old man named Hakim was spending the last days of his life. He was wise and patient, but the sons he had raised with his sweat and toil now saw him as a burden. The eldest son, Yusuf, was a landowner. After a long day in the fields, he would come home, tired and frustrated, and his father's presence felt like an inconvenience. One day in anger, he said, "Father, why don't you go live with one of my brothers?" With tears in his eyes, Hakim left. The second son, Farouk, was a successful merchant but lacked compassion. His wife treated Hakim with disdain, and soon Farouk himself said, "Father, I'm too busy. Maybe another brother can care for you." Once again, Hakim moved on. The third son, Usman, was a farmer. Though he respected his father, his daily struggles left him with little time to care for him. Feeling unwanted, Hakim departed. The fourth son, Ahmad, welcomed his father at first. But when he realized the old man had no wealth to offer, his attitude changed. One night, he coldly said, "Father, I don't have time for you." And so, Hakim left again, carrying nothing but sorrow. At last, he arrived at the home of his youngest son, Abdullah. Unlike his brothers, Abdullah was poor but rich at heart. He and his wife welcomed Hakim with open arms and cared for him with love and devotion. Seeing their kindness, Hakim's eyes filled with joy. Time passed and Hakim's health declined. One night, he called Abdullah close and whispered, "My son, in Baghdad, a man named Jabir holds a trust for me. After I am gone, it will belong to you." Abdullah held his father's hand and softly replied, "Father, all I need is your blessing." Soon Hakim's journey came to an end. Abdullah wept for his father but honored his last words. He traveled to Baghdad and met Jabir, who handed him a chest. When Abdullah opened it, he found deeds to valuable land, precious gems, and gold coins. Despite his newfound wealth, Abdullah remained just and honest. He decided to share the inheritance with his brothers. However, fate had already made its decision. Yusuf's land was lost to drought, Farouk's business collapsed, Usman fell into poverty, and Ahmad was ruined by his own greed. One by one, they lost everything. Meanwhile, Abdullah worked hard, expanding his trade in Baghdad. Over time, he bought the same properties his brothers had been forced to sell. One day, he visited his father's grave, tears in his eyes, and whispered, "Father, your blessing has made me the wealthiest man in Baghdad, but no wealth can fill the emptiness of your absence." The lesson? Respecting parents brings prosperity, while neglecting them leads to ruin.